beautiful divine masculine and feminine darlings. Thank you for clearing that out. Love you. This is the Seraphim Gypsy, SeraFae Indigo Empress, and Shiloh Horizon. I don't plan to be here for too long, but I'm picking up a whole bunch of energy. And I noticed something earlier. So we're going to shuffle out some cards just to check on this. But the other day I went into town to do some errands, and I crossed paths with somebody that I knew when I was a teenager. This is somebody who was always a number of years older than me. And this person ended up having kids with the older sister of one of the people who bullied me in high school. And the family of those people, the bully and the sister, they've never been nice. It was a group of them. I've never either gotten along with them, or more specifically, they're bullies and I tend to mind my business, or I call them out for being nasty, but typically speaking, they're just not worth the energy or the effort, okay? So this is a core message. I went in just to do regular errands, and this is a place that this person, I guess, recently started working at, but when my daughter was an infant, this person worked there. So now they're back at the same job. It's a corporate grocery store. Somebody says, so it sounds like they backslid or backtracked in regards to the fact that they didn't move into anything different than a typical 9 to 5. Yes, right. Divine Masculine says, well, not even that. Like, there's no elevation there. This person went back to the entry-level job that they had a decade ago. Yeah, you're right. And probably the entry-level pay. And yeah, probably. And I would say probably if they had not stopped and gone back and forth and what have you, then they may have not had to start back at entry-level pay. But either way, this was last week that this happened. And this person, this was a male. And he told me that the mother of his kids is domestically abusive to him. And he told me that he had custody. This was last week. All in passing, I was in the in the almond milk section, and he was working in uniform. I was grocery shopping. 3:22. And so he told me that the mother of his child is domestically abusive, to recap, and then also that he has custody of the kids. Now, what he doesn't know, because I'm highly psychic, is that when I went home that evening and over the course of the next days, I picked up, because he was playing around in my energy field, that he was going back to people who've been targeting me and bullying me. Like I said, he had kids with people in the family, in a family that bullied me, in a family of people who has bullied me for as long as they've known me, at least over a decade, closer to 15 plus years. But I picked up that he turned around and he actually went to talk to a very specific karmic male who's been terrorizing me and sending other people to do it for him. And this, at first, there was an energy where he may have been peeved off about learning how I was actually being abused the way that he's claiming that he's being abused. And she's not a nice person to me, and she doesn't come from a nice family, so I'm sure there are issues there. I'm not discrediting that, but there are issues in regards to him as well, and I don't think he thinks or noticed that I noticed, but I did. And I've been sitting on it, but I noticed the red flags, and he got caught lying to me today. The story changed. The rest of the details got filled in, and it contradicted. what he told me last week, and I caught it. And I called him out on it. I said, wait, what? He kept trying to either change his story or add other little details as if it made it better, but it didn't. He kept digging himself a bigger hole, and anyway, we'll get there momentarily. But silly little geese. I picked up that he went back to a karmic male and maybe tried to say something or mildly call out this karmic male for being abrasive and abusive and combative. But then the karmic male decided to, like he always does, very bitch made, is what I just heard, slander and play the victim. And he made up some kind of lie about me or some kind of excuse, or he took an aspect of a situation out of context. For example, let's say that there's a light worker and there's a karmic and there's a problem situation that a karmic has made. Maybe they'll outline the problem situation, which is true if a situation is a problem, but instead of acknowledging their part in it, they will blame either everything on the light worker, or if it's entirely the karmic's fault, they'll blame everything on the light worker. And in this case, that's what it is, the latter. So this one grocery store karmic, because that's what he is, karmic male, came up to me last week, started a conversation, tried to claim we had some things in common. He also told me last week he had a crush on me, and said that that's probably why the karmic female he had kids with is not very nice to me. Hasn't been. Scowls at me. Can't help herself. Stink eye. He said, oh, probably because she's always known I've had a crush on you. I'm like, what do you mean? You used to bang my cousin, dude. 722. I didn't say that to him, but that's what I was thinking. And I did bring her name up gently just to remind him, in case you think I forgot. I didn't. Couple of cards just hit the floor. See? Oh, he's had a crush on you. Weirdo. Oh, what did I just say? There it is. These all hit the floor. They fell out of this deck. Slander. So the grocery store karmic male went to another abusive karmic male. But mind you, they used to work together. Over when this grocery store karmic was working there a decade ago before coming back to entry-level pay, the one that he went to either gossip to or try to call out, before then listening to the gossip that the karmic he was calling out told him in order to try to cover it up and blame the victim so that he didn't have to take accountability, or that the person calling him out would stop calling him out based on that lie. They used to work together. Oh, and the one who's been targeting me, you know why and how he quit that job? Because he was getting blackout drunk. In fact, I had to work, and he was getting blackout drunk. He was mad that I caught him cheating on me after he sexually assaulted me when my daughter was 6 weeks old. And I messaged the person who was twice my age, mind you, I was like 21. And I said, look, this is what's going on. I've got a new baby at home. That's difficult enough to deal with. I know you've lost your 2 teenage sons to the state, but you need to stay out of my life. Because I'm trying to raise a child, and frankly, I've got an adult child in the house. Not my child, but he's behaving like one, and it's like having 2 children. I've had enough. Stay out of my life, Boobs McGee, and stop sending nudes to our phones. Twice your age? Yes. What, 40-something when I was 20? Anyway, she lost both of her teenage sons to the state? Yes. and then was trying to meddle in my life. Yeah, I heard that. You were barely out of your teenage. I know. So you think these people would get a grip, but they don't. Hello. Scummy, bummy, bottom feeders, the lot of them. And what kind of person would ally or associate or run with a person like that? Oh, somebody just like them. So the lot of them, like I said. 1022. And so I went to work. I said, look, you got work in a couple of hours. Stop drinking. I know you're mad that you got caught cheating. I know she came over and yelled at you because I told her to stay out of my life. But first of all, you just got nasty and mad at me because you got caught cheating on me. I'm not the one in the wrong here, dude. You psychos, all of you. And then I went to work because I had a shift, and I told him, stop drinking, sober up, get your stuff for work, and I'll see you at work. Well, he did go to work, but he didn't stop drinking. He showed up very drunk to work and then quit an hour in. Yeah, that's who's been terrorizing me for the last 10 years and hiring people and sending people to do it, including paying them with money that he's been stealing from me. Scummy, bummy, bottom feeders. Somebody says how? Via embezzlement and extortion. Thank you. Wire fraud and theft. Okay. So he quits. He keeps drinking, does go into work, but goes in for not even an hour and then quits his job. Quits his job. And then proceeds to go back to my apartment and continue to drink. I didn't know that. So I walk in after my shift with my newborn, 12:22. And he's standing at the kitchen with his back turned to me cooking bacon. I can remember this photographically. I'll never forget it. And I didn't realize, because his back was turned, that A, he had continued to drink, and B, because I couldn't see his eyes, that he was blackout. But he was. So I put my baby down, and she wet her diaper right then and wanted it changed immediately, my princess, and that's perfectly understandable. I don't blame her. We were on the same page. So I hadn't even had a second to unbuckle her car seat. I carried her up from the car in her car seat, and I set it on the ground, and the second I did that, she had wet herself, newborn, and wanted a new diaper. So she started crying. As I set the car seat on the ground, hadn't even put it down yet, barely. So I hadn't even had a chance to unbuckle it. And he immediately whips around and starts screaming at me. Get it out of my house! After he just quit his job blackout drunk, and I was paying the bills, including his share. Somebody said he called a baby an it. Yes, yeah, you see, and my mom told me that was very dangerous. It's called dissociation, and it's not the type of trauma dissociation that survivors have. It's a type of dissociation that abusers have, where they like survivors kind of step out of their body sometimes because the trauma is so intense, they just need a break from it. But that's not what's going. The abuse is so bad, they need some way to kind of step back from it. And so it's like their spirit kind of stepping out of their body a bit. But it's not the same kind of dissociation. It's not the same thing for a narcissist, for an abuser. For them, they're trying to detach themselves from acknowledging that a victim is a real human person with feelings, and therefore taking any kind of accountability or feeling bad for treating people like objects and beating the shit out of them in whatever variation of way. It's different. This is just basic psychology. I guess it's a bit more than basic, actually, but for me, it's pretty basic. It's why in news reports, if a family is working with the police and let's say somebody's being kidnapped or they're missing, and the family puts a plea out for the victim to come home or for whoever took them to return them, the police or whoever the investigators are will often inform the family to use the victim's name instead of saying my daughter, our daughter, or whatever they're saying. They will encourage the parents or the family of the victim to use that person's name out loud in the interviews, because it's a way to try to remind these people, the abusers, maybe even listening, that this is a human being, and maybe try to stimulate even just a fragment of, if not empathy, then human comprehension, so that they don't hurt that person, or they're willing to, again, stop looking at them as an object to be mistreated, taken advantage of, stolen, held hostage, whatever the case may be, and sent home to heal. All right. And so back to the main point of this, grocery store karmic last week came up and said, yeah, I'm being domestically abused and I've got custody of the kids. And then I went to the karmic who's been abusing me and used to throw me across this floor over here, actually, and use my face as a mop on it. And the karmic male that he went to, or rather this one, the grocery store karmic, said, I heard you did this to Divine Feminine, or hey, why did you do that? Or this is whatever the case may be. And so this karmic said, I didn't do that. Or, well, actually, she did this. But it was a lie. Whatever this karmic said to this karmic, they were lying. Including, especially if this one tried to call this one out. Even if they didn't, this one was trying to cover up the truth and deflect, even just preemptively. And so this karmic said, well, she didn't tell me that. Yeah, well, she didn't tell you that because what this one said wasn't true. I didn't tell you that because it's not real. Dude made it up and you bought it. Apparently. Look, I just split the deck, right? Because you figure out you bought a lie, or you shouldn't have been lying. Okay? Yeah, see? Told you. He went right to that person who's been abusive towards me. But like I said, they used to work together. Yeah. How did she know that? Because I really am psychic. So today I went into town, and that person was there again. They were working. I was picking up some groceries. Personality disorder, these people. Which is funny because that's what they've been projecting, trying to project about us. And today, this karmic who said all that stuff last week looked not good. Looked worse than he did last week. And I said, are you good? He said, no, I'm not. And so basically that baby mom that he has, that he claims that he was being abused by, that he's not with, that he wasn't with, while trying to tell me and convince me, I was not interested anyway, that he had a crush on me. In fact, that made me really uncomfortable coming from this person. Divine Masculine says, yeah, especially since you know you fucked your cousin. I know. I mean, can you imagine? Did you forget about that? Because I didn't. Ew. Divine Masculine's laughing. It's funny. I mean, yes, it is. It'll make for a funny chapter in the autobiography, and goodness, but good gracious, it's gross too. Ew. Ew. He says, you're just a little shell-shocked. Maybe. Come give me a come give me a hug. Give love. What was that? You remind me of, what was it? Mama, I got what you need. Come give me a hug. Give love. $50. That's what I'm hearing. Took me a second. So bottom line, the same karmic from last week came up today and said that this time, where he didn't tell me that he went to talk to a karmic who's been abusing me about me after bumping into me, crossing paths with me last week. He didn't think I know about it. But as of this week, after going and trying to gossip about me or whatever it may be, listening to gossip about me from a karmic, this week he's going to be homeless, apparently, in 2 weeks. And also, he in his frantic, frazzled tizzy in explaining, let me pack this bowl and grab some water. I feel his energy. I feel it. It's like stuttering over words, and he had a hard time today actually talking. Actually, while he was on the clock, you were not allowed to do this, but he did. He left his job and went around the corner to pull out a vaporizer to smoke out of a vape. Unless you go to the time clock and you clock out, you are not allowed to do that, especially at a place that is owned by a corporation. Oh no, but he did. And so he's doing things that are liable to get him fired, as he just started this job back, and he claims he needs the job, and now he doesn't know where he's going to keep his stuff and sleep and all this stuff. Divine, somebody asks, well, what did you do? Well, I did pick up a bit of advice and potentials of resolution, because that's who I am. However, the core message was, but you need to stay sober and you need to stay, try to stay positive or be positive, which it's karmic energy, we'll see. And so really that's up to him. But I gave what information I was picking up and where the potential resolutions may well come from, or how they may come. But it was weird. It was like he was waiting for me to offer him to come stay with me. No. Divine Masculine's laughing. And he didn't think you didn't think you knew that he went and talked to the person who's been terrorizing you. Yeah. But after he went and talked to the person who's been hurting me, suddenly his life is destabilized. Suddenly, after he went and talked to the person who has been telling people that I'm homeless, which obviously I'm not, in order to try to convince people that he's right to be criminal and a bully, for starters, including when he's living on his parents' couch and he's never had his own apartment. He only gets places if he latches on to females or if he crashes on his friends' couches or something, or his parents. He's never had his own place, not ever, not once. I mean, he even, somebody said, how old is this guy? 35 almost. And he can't get cars without his dad still co-signing. Like I said, he's sleeping on his parents' couch at his parents' house. And he's been saying that about you? Yes, dude. And so it's just lies. And now the person talking, gossiping with him needed a, yeah, see, they all need me. They want to sit there and lie about me and trash talk me. But you see, I'm the one who's stable. So when their karma comes to clap back at them and that evil eye backfires, they want and need my help. They need me. Too bad. Too late. 2522. Yeah, look what just popped out. See? Your spirit team is taking care of it. The energy work you're doing on yourself is working. Yeah, see, they'll play victim once they know they're losing. You're not the victim. And mind you, you know how I know he knows exactly who this person is, and this is exactly how I knew he went beyond the psychic stuff. When I said, yeah, this person's been not very nice, and this is what's happened. You mean the one that I used to work with here? So he knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I saw it. He went right in to talk to him, whether it be to confront him or to gossip with him. And either way, he heard gossip and a cover-up and lies from the karmic he went to speak to. And he just, well, he ran with it. But now, apparently, he has no place to live in 2 weeks. But here's the thing. He said in the first conversation from 2 weeks ago that he was being domestically abused by the mother of his child and that he had custody of the kids. Well, today he was in such a frantic tizzy to rush and tell me that he didn't have a place to stay, that he spit it all out. And he said, yeah, the mother of my child is moving out and she's moving into a camp. And so now I won't have a place to stay. What do you mean? I said, I thought you had custody of the kids. What do you mean? I thought she was domestically abusing you when you weren't together. This does not match anything you said last week. Do you not notice the discrepancies? Because I do. I heard that. That's bad. And I said, so what are the kids? Where are the kids going? There, she's going to take them to this new, this camp with her. So you don't have custody of the kids. No, we co-parent, he said. Yeah, that's not having custody of the kids, dude. You're a liar. 2722. Which is why you listen to gossip, because you are a gossiper. It's in your energy. You're cool with it. Yeah, see? But it was backbiting. This is why God said this is what they were saying, and this is why. Talking over you. So they try to speak, they run their mouth and say nasty things, either behind your back where you can't speak up for yourself, or I mean, really, that's what it is. Talking over you. It's trying to bury the truth with a lie. It doesn't have to be about volume. It's more about the energy. Yeah, see? There it is. Exactly. It's not about volume. They don't need to scream. They just try to go behind your back and cover up the truth with lies. Yeah. And that's why suddenly a week later he doesn't have a place to stay and is being destabilized, and it's all of a sudden hitting at once. Now again, I'm not a fan of this girl either. Yeah, see, look. So they both are issues. I would say it's a karmic couple, very likely. But he's not a karmic. Yeah. Okay, let's give this one a shuffle really quickly. And also... oh, there's a karmic female ripping her hair out. She's angry. Very angry. Which one? Let's do this one. You're tantruming. Yeah, now she's mad because I saw it. She really is psychic. Yeah. Tell me. See? So I said, look, this is what I'm picking up. You know, I even gave the karmic some conflict resolution because that's who I am. I said, here's what you need to do. Stay on the straight and narrow. Keep your nose clean. Stay out of drugs and drinking. And try to stay as positive as you can, right? Don't gossip and drama. Hello. And if it's not somebody that you know, it's like a mutual contact or a mutual friend. And he said, yeah, my mom does like mediumship stuff, so I know that. Because that's the stuff that's been gossiped about. It's all slander. I'm just crazy. What, because you don't believe in the psychic realm? You know, maybe the psychic realm is real, but you're not a real psychic. What, because you wish I wasn't? Because you are so jealous and hateful that you hope that was the truth? You wish that was the truth because it would make you feel better about yourself? Yeah, well, it's not delusional. Okay. So let's see. What else? Get a few more, please. Thank you. Yep. Energy vampire. Can't stand your grind or hustle. Causing you to have flu symptoms. Yuck. So these are people who either will be sick or they wanted people to be sick. Your stomach may drop also when these people come around. It was not good energy. And I don't think he noticed, but I had my qualms about him I have sketched out last week. And this did not do anything to help his case today. Some of these people are going to be having either vehicular or transportation or housing issues. But like I said, that is what they were trying to do to other people, mess with people's money or transportation or housing situations. And so guess what the backfire is? Guess what their karma is? Yeah, we're good. So maybe using crystals, potentially. Just saw a bay leaf also. Some people use those. This could be like a trigger reference if your body reacts to them. Lets you know that something's off. One of your neighbors doesn't really like you. Neighborhood drama. Yeah, see, but this is one of those people that hangs out with and would hang out with and has hung out with all of the local hood rats that I don't hang out with and won't hang out with. All the ones that have been targeting me, they all have been known to click up together in the past. So yeah, that's why they're getting karma. Things are just falling apart or unexplained freak accident. But I heard that Divine Masculine's like, I can't believe he told you that he had custody of those kids only a week later to have to confess to you in hopes that you'd come save him or something. And he did. He asked me if like I knew of anything, if I had any resolution for him. Out loud, he asked me. Not realizing I knew he went behind my back within the next few days after I bumped into him last week. And I see it and I can pick it up. I hear it. I know what's being said too. It's not very nice. It often digs at the spirituality stuff. It shows how out of touch they are, doesn't it? Especially for people who try to take digs at me, but then also try to claim to be spiritual themselves. Obviously not. Just based off of that alone. But there's more to it than that too. Speaking of, you see, I know better. I picked this up too. Attempts at spell work. They were trying to send spells to affect the body negatively. I hear to keep people blocked and stuck. No. Possibly for a money drain. Divine Masculine says, what did you say? I told him there was what I was picking up is that there was not, if it wasn't someone in his contact list, but it's like a mutual friend or a mutual associate of someone in his contact list that has a potential resource and resolution for him. But he has to stay the straight and narrow and do the right thing. And guess what? Gossiping about me wasn't it. That's why the next conversation he had with me, after gossiping about me, after the first one, was, oh, I'm going to be homeless in 2 weeks. Yeah, well, you gossiped about me 1 week ago, so that didn't take long, did it? Uno reverse. And not only that, but you gossiped with me about somebody I've got on court transcript lying and telling a courtroom that I am homeless in order to try to ask for permission not to send my daughter, who's been illegally held hostage, home, and to keep doing so without permission. She hasn't seen a doctor in years for the injuries we've caused her by abusing her on purpose. They lied, which actually that's not true. And my doctors are ready to put them in jail with their testimony to prove otherwise. She's homeless. Please don't make us send this child we're kidnapping back, they said, but I'm obviously not. My daughter learned to walk across the same floor right over here that you see me dance across. And it's the same floor that the person that this loser from the grocery store today went and gossiped with behind my back last week. It's the same loser that used to throw me across that floor and use my face as a mop. That's who these two karmic males are. And yes, they did used to work at that grocery store together. Somebody asks what? Stocking shelves, I think, and possibly doing maintenance. Like cleanup or something, janitorial or stocking or something. Yeah. Male men, so-called men ganging up on you. I know. They're not very manly, are they? I know. I know exactly who it was and why. They're all possessed. They're all in dark energy. It's not even just like your typical, oh, they're possessed, like movie possession. They're just evil. They're just evil energies. They're just who they are. They're energy vampires. So trying to send, crown chakra, third eye attacks. They didn't want people to know. Too bad. Yep. That's why they are getting bad karma. Can't stand to see you shine. And yep, I'm telling you, it was like he did ask me if I knew of anything, any place he could stay or whatever that situation he was looking for resolution on was, but I don't have any situations or resolutions for him that way. I did pick up there is a potential of him to sort himself out, like I said. But it's like he wanted me to save him. I'm not going to destabilize myself for you. You destabilized yourself more because you tried to work with people who've been destabilizing me. You chose to try to help destabilize me. You chose to enable destabilizers and become a destabilizer yourself. No. He looked worse for wear today, but he didn't ask for a hug. Not this week. Divine Masculine says, did he last week? Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. But then he went and turned and got, yes, I'm telling you, these people here suck. They're all like this. This is why I never fit in here, and I never will, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Get me the hell out. Because it is hell here. They turned Eden into hell. I'm not staying. Love Eve. kick it on my yoga mat in my birthday suit and a bowl pack in the meantime, but I'm not staying here. That's just a meditative process on the interim. That's just a flow space as I get out, but I'm not coming back. Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. Deuces. Yeah, they're all coming back and they don't have a choice, but yeah, also I'm leaving. And this is why they don't want me to get out, because they can't. Crabs in a barrel mentality. Can't relate. Right, Mind Flip? Those of us at the top are too busy working to collaborate to have any desire to compete. No. No on the crown chakra, third eye spells. Absolutely not. No on the ear chakra attacks. I know. I also know that there is a karmic, pedophilic water sign, Cancerian water sign from Ellsworth, Maine, who's been all up and down my social media. Girl, your energy stinks. Oh, look what's behind that. That's hilarious. Well, there she goes. Told you. How's that evil eye taste? About like my toes in your teeth, huh? Yeah. Okay, crazy pants. And so this is the grocery store person. This is somebody that I used to, like I said, this is somebody who like dated around with and hooked up with my cousin and what have you. And this particular cousin actually is one of the ones involved with the inheritance theft scandal. So also, no thank you on all of them and anybody involved. But I did used to be, I mean, I've still been kind, even today. But I guess in the past, I would have considered this person a friend or at least more of an acquaintance. I don't. No. And so this is somebody, I already picked it up, resentful, jealous of, it already came out in the cards. Like they think, she's got everything made for her. She's got everything so easy. It just, you don't know. You don't know the blood, sweat, and tears. You don't know. But here's the thing, Carmen, I've been through stuff and I've been through, yeah, but you made bad choices. You chose to gang up on people with other people or do so yourself instead of staying out of trouble, minding your business, or whatever combination of things. We made different choices. I chose not to do and get into the trouble that you got yourself into, and I chose to make better choices. It leads to a much more fulfilled life. Why? Because when you follow an aligned path, when you stay in divine alignment, and like me, I always check with the divine before moving on anything really. I mean, yeah, I even use the spirit team to figure out what colors to paint my nails sometimes, guys. Get real. Color therapy. When you stay in divine alignment, it does seem like everything just works out for you. So lucky. It's not luck. Okay? I've got an analogy for you. This is what I'm being shown. Speaking of, no third eye blocks here. So imagine you're on a highway, right? Life is like a highway, decisions and choices. You're on a highway, it's going this way, and then you have the choice to veer off on an exit or keep going straight down the highway. These people are not following a map. They're not using a GPS. They're just trying to fly by the seat of their pants, and they were supposed to take the exit, but they kept driving. Why? Because they weren't paying attention or following a map, or they thought that they could do it themselves, or they just, whatever the case may be. But then they get mad at the people who meticulously checked the directions and followed them, made sure to have the GPS set up, made sure to have a backup just in case the GPS failed, made sure to leave a little bit early just to give themselves a little time just in case something happened, they got it lost or there was traffic, or everything just works out so easy for you. You're so lucky. No, I left early. I planned in advance. I packed my bags and picked out all my outfits in advance and made sure I had everything I needed so I didn't have to rush to jump on the flight or in the car or whatever. I not only did I have a map ready to go, but I had a GPS and I didn't miss my exit. It's not luck. It's alignment. This isn't luck. This is by design. I had to work in the dark for my light to shine. Yeah, but you would rather sit around and bitch and make comments. Suit yourself. Be miserable. 4522. You know what I heard also? Speaking of, it's a wash, or you're a wash also. So somebody was telling a karmic, you're a wash. Meaning everything that you tried to do to this light worker has failed. For example, I got a flash of the bowl yesterday. There was an evil eye attack and they wanted my bowl to break, and it did. So weird the way that it fell and the cat knocked it off the counter. It was just wild. Divine Masculine even said that wasn't even near the edge of the counter. Like, how the heck did that happen? And I'm telling you, dude. And the same thing with the nail. I'm like, I know you know what you're doing. That was really, yeah, it's the evil eye. They tried. Not enough to do anything. I just fixed the nail and picked up a new bowl, and I was given a gift bag, and one of the things it had in it was a little offering that covered the price of a new piece, and then some, actually. So I didn't actually lose anything. I just replaced it. It was a neutral. They burnt themselves out trying to mess me up, and it didn't. It's a wash. Balanced back out. That's just one example. And not just from technology. Also, these evil eye energies. And this, my darlings, this is Isis. This is Isis and Osiris pirate. And you know what I did notice, though? Interestingly enough, very strange. The grocery store dude today, he was wearing a tiger's eye bracelet on his wrist like this. And it was weirdly, it also happened to be the right wrist. And that's the one that I have mine on too. So I heard that. Somebody says, what does that say? Peace. No lies. Just love. Got my little turning the light on, watch your eyes. Also, I found that book. There's one that's called Where the Sidewalk Ends. I'm sure I have that here somewhere. I know I had the whole collection growing up. And so I found this one today while I was sorting through some things and getting ready to donate some things, and then just also reorganize others. But if I have this one, I'm sure I've got the others kicking around somewhere. Shel Silverstein. But I mentioned the Where the Sidewalk Ends books. In the reading the other day, I picked it up. Buck and Bronco, you got to kick a little. Fizzle, you know what? He also mentioned something about the bracelet. This ain't my first rodeo, heard. And he said that he pulled another one out of his pocket that was falling apart, and he said that it was a mix of crystals. Mostly it was tiger's eye, but it was almost falling off of his wrist, and he said that it was part of he called it a Miss Frizz costume. I said, you mean Miss Frizzle? Yeah, Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus. But this is Isis and Osiris pyrite. What makes this different is normally it's just one or the other. You've either got these really chunky, pointy kind of crystals over here, or you've got this more smooth textured side and the balance between the 2 points, the divine feminine and the masculine polarities, the difference between the two, that's what makes it the Isis and Osiris pyrite. That's what, because not all pyrite is Isis and Osiris pyrite, but that particular piece is, due to the fact that it's got both types in it, in the one piece of stone. But I do have these little butterflies. And then this is the "100 Acre Woods" from Pooh Bear. My house, Eeyore's gloomy place, the bee tree, and then Pooh's trap for heffalumps. And then also, you've got Miss Kanga's house, Kanga and Rue over here, in the corner. And then a nice place for picnics. And then the 6 pine trees. Here we go, this way. An owl's house. And there's Owl flying in to his house. Map, backpack. Na, 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 na. Dora the Explorer, I'm picking it up. You know that Karmic that, like I said, sent me that 4-page letter? Oh, she must have been so mad. These people they must be fuming to take the time and effort and energy, like, to try to yell at me through a letter as if that would change anything. I can tell you're tripping hard. But her last name is Spanish. Yeah, they all are. Jealous of your material home, clothes, cars, and lifestyle. Get a dream catcher. But these are people who want to plot and steal or manipulate to get what they want. They don't actually want to do the hard work. And I see it all the time. Everything comes so easy for you, like I said. No. Or here's another one. They will see, let's say somebody busts their behind for a decade or more. They work really hard and they finally get a payout for whatever it is that they've been working on, whatever they've been building the whole time, quietly behind the scenes or just brick by brick. And they finally pop off, or they finally have a success, a big success. And somebody walks in and sees the outcome of their success and they're jealous of it. Everything comes so easy to you. It's not fair. What do you mean? I'm the one who got up every morning before the sun to start putting effort into what I've been building. I'm the one who made sure to problem solve. I'm the one who made sure to continue to grow and nurture and protect my business, and whatever the final payoff that you're seeing, built. You're just so lucky it comes so easy to you. No, you see the congratulations at the end, but you didn't see all the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into it in order to get that outcome. You're just so lucky you've got that nice new car. Yeah, but you didn't see every painstaking hour of work that I put in to earn every cent to get it. You're just jealous because it's shiny. But I don't think you'd be jealous if you knew that I had to scrub toilets and do whatever else for it. Or maybe you'd have some motive to get some work discipline and ethic, ma'am. This is a karmic female I'm picking up on. Not just, but yeah, yeah, also. Anything else? Yeah, I'm about to. See? Told you, they're miserable. They're just miserable. And they want other people to be miserable. That's not going to make you better. Trying to hate on me is not going to make you pretty. It's not going to make you successful, and it's definitely not going to make you nice. Or desirable in any way. Anything else? No, they're just jealous, but they're being cleansed out. Don't worry about it. She thinks she's funny. Divine Masculine says, what do you mean? She's hilarious. You just don't think it's funny because at this point, the joke is on you and you're the butt of it. Yeah? Cheers. Remember to hydrate, please. Anything else? I'm telling you. I'm somebody who's mad either that they got cut off or that you won't let them in, but that's too bad. This is what they have been doing, which is why you won't let them in, or I won't, both. Or because when you won't let them in, this is what they do. Well, gee, I wonder why we didn't let you in then if you were willing to turn around and do that. Some friend you were pretending to be, huh? But here's the thing. That's why you were rejected. We didn't let you in because we saw through that. And I can already hear it. Like, well, she's so rude. She's got that house up there. Her family just built a house. She didn't even offer. That's not my house. That's somebody else's house. I can't invite you to move into a house that I didn't build. That's not mine. What do you mean? First of all, other people are moving in there. I don't even live there. What do you mean? I can't invite you to new house moved next door. That's not my house. I can't offer to invite you to someone else's house. Yeah, but it's your family's. That's not my house. 5722. First of all, I got another story for you too, Destructo. And secondarily, again, I'm not going to destabilize myself for someone else. This is not somebody I want or need around me. I wouldn't give him my address to come visit, let alone invite him to stay. Okay? No, I would not. On top of that, I don't plan to stay here. And there would be also nowhere for him to crash. He's not sleeping in my bed. He's not sleeping in my daughter's bed. And I got rid of the couch to turn the living room into a gym, which I did last week, 2 weeks ago. So we want to crash on the floor? No. I don't want you or trust you in my house anyway, especially since I know you just went behind my back with the person who raped me and gossiped a few days ago about me. Well, she didn't tell me that, rapist. Yeah, because the rapist lied to you. She didn't tell me that. Yeah, because it wasn't true. There was nothing to tell. It was made up. He made it up because he didn't want you to look at him like a domestically abusive rapist. 9:22 here on the clock on the East Coast. Thank you. So as far as grocery store dude goes, and the cousin incident, because Divine Masculine's listening or will be on the autoplay at minimum, picking up. Yeah, see, I told you. Yeah, that's why they're catching karma. So this guy from the grocery store today was, yeah, there it is, banging this cousin, right? But this cousin was, she's not even really my cousin. My grandmother heard stray. Anyway, my grandmother was living in Florida, and this was when this cousin was like maybe 5 years old, and she was living with her father, who had custody of her. The the going thought is that she was like kidnapped from her mom or something, or like her dad, just because her mom was Mexican also, or Spanish, I think Mexican. So the thought was that the father just like picked up the baby and left the mother in Mexico and just like basically kidnapped the child and went to Florida with this little girl. And that's where she was raised, Florida. But she was living with her dad, and my grandmother was noticing that she would come up to her door and like look through the window and look at the kids playing and see us. And so she noticed that maybe she needed some food also. And so my grandmother started just looking out for this girl, kind of very neighborly, and then asked her father if she could come for lunch or just to play with us kids. And then she eventually earned his trust, and when my grandparents would come back to the East Coast, this girl would come visit for a week or two at a time for a vacation, and my grandmother had earned her father's trust enough to do that. Both of my grandparents did. 61:16, Divine Masculine says, this is the grandparent that they stole the inheritance in regards to? Yes. So when my grandmother was alive, one day she came to me and she asked me if I had put a hole in the wall on the back apartment, because her house was split into two sides, and the second side she kept as a guest apartment. But I didn't stay there. The other cousins did. Since I was little, I've always had a bedroom at my grandparents' house. Always did, growing up. And it was not on the apartment side of the house. All the other cousins, like, they wanted their own little apartment thing. I was more comfortable close to my grandparents. I really liked, the whole kitchen is in the side that I was on, the main living room, the side that I was on, my grandmother, both my grandparents, on the side that I was on, the big bathroom with the big jacuzzi bathtub, oh yeah, on the side that I was on. But most importantly, it was the bedroom that was immediately next door to my grandparents. And I just genuinely have loved them. But these cousins, you see, they took turns in and out of that back apartment. And during the summer when she was older, it wasn't just a week or two she'd visit, sometimes she'd stay for a summer, she would stay in that back apartment. And my grandmother didn't know this, but that guy from the grocery store today that cousin was banging, she would sneak him up there because there was a balcony set of stairs on that side of the apartment. And unless my grandparents went into that side of the apartment, they wouldn't know. And they didn't. And guess what? When I say hole in the wall, I mean like a body-shaped impression, as if somebody fell or was shoved, fell or was shoved into this wall. Like concave, like somebody's shoulder went into it. First of all, it's not my size. It's not, I don't know if I could even do that. Second of all, no, I don't even stay over there, but I know who did it, or I know who brought people in there when it happened, and I know how it happened, more than likely. Either it was like some kind of, three things. Some kind of weird, rough sex, some kind of angry, aggressive thing, or somebody was drunk and, like I said, fell or moved too hard. But this guy is a big, tall guy. He's much taller than I am, and he's probably, I don't know, solid, a couple 100 pounds or something. I don't know. Oh, enough. Who weighs a lot more than I do. But that giant man-sized, tall, big, heavy, tall, man-sized hole in the wall, yeah, it would fit him. And that's the one she had over there. Snuck him in there after they went to bed. I found out. But I found out later, and my grandmother didn't know because she'd asked me about it. Do you know about that hole in the wall? I had not even seen it. I didn't even know it was there because I don't go over there. But when the cousin left, went back to Florida or Colorado, eventually she went to Colorado, then my grandparents went over there to check on things or see what needed to be cleaned or whatever. And they saw that. And that was new. Wasn't there when she moved in. It was there when she moved out. But it wasn't mine. Well, it's not my area, nope. But I bet you I know who it was, and I'm pretty sure it was that guy at the grocery store. Yeah, I know. Trying to collect. What dirt? What dirt? See, the only dirt that's being thrown is the gossip, and that's not my dirt, that's theirs. If this resonates with you, that's not your dirt, light workers. People trying to throw dirt on your name, that poison's coming out of their mouth. That means they've got dirty tongues. You can try to muddy my name all you want. I will wear your hate like war paint. And I do. Who's spooked? Not me. Who's afraid of little me? But really, they can't help it. You want to sit there and gossip about me, but also you can't help but ask for a hug first. What do you mean? Pick one. Stay gone. Yeah. And this is also what the gossip was. Either like this karmic male was claiming to, just like probably two of them together, claiming to be domestic abuse victims. When I know at least one of them's not. Claiming to be single fathers when they're very clearly not. That got exposed this week. Or, yeah, but did you know? Okay, let's say it's a karmic male. Did you know Divine Feminine got in all this legal trouble? No. Really, that question reads, did you know that I... Where'd that card go? Did you know that I tried to set Divine Feminine up with false charges and then slander her as if the perjury that I told on paper was justifiable? As if since the lie was on paper, then suddenly it was true. And I'm hearing this karmic male say it doesn't matter if it was true if people believed it. Yeah, see, that's what makes you a shitbag, for starters. It's one of the things. And they didn't. They don't. Or they're learning that you lied. And how does that temporary win taste now as it's kicking back in your face? Don't worry, I will. 6822. Anything else? Like I said, that's your toxicity, not my issue. I'm going to drop the mic right here. Please remember to pray. Do no harm. Darlings, take no crap, and I will catch you on the next one. Blessings and namaste.